Before Bryce Young would make history as the youngest Heisman winner in decades. Before Bryce Young would hear his name called #1 overall in the NFL draft. Before Bryce Young would step on the field to lead the Carolina Panthers franchise. Born on July 25th, 2001 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Bryce Young's family decided to pick up stakes and head west to Pasadena, California when he was just a toddler. Even as a youngster, Young was mentored by his pops, Craig, to compete against the elite. While other kids played video games, this prodigy was already working with quarterback coaches and honing his skills. These early reps prepared him for greatness. After absolutely dominating the high school ranks, Young snagged offers from all the top programs. Though initially committed to USC, Nick Saban came calling and convinced Bryce to join Bama's powerhouse instead. Roll Tide. Of course, we all know what happened next. In 2021, Young enjoyed one of the best seasons ever by a college quarterback. He tossed over 4,500 yards and 46 touchdowns, becoming the youngest Heisman winner since World War II. Today, Bryce Young is out to prove his generational talent will translate to Sundays. But first, let's rewind and see how this undersized phenom defied doubters on his journey to being the #1 overall pick. This is before they were famous, the story of Bryce Young. Bryce Young entered this world on July 25th, 2001 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. But he didn't spend long living on the East Coast. While still a toddler, his family relocated across the country to sunny Pasadena, California. Right from the jump, Young displayed remarkable maturity and focus. At just 5 years old in 2006, he started working with his first quarterback coach. His dad, Craig, knew that to become elite, you gotta learn from the elite. So despite the backlash, Craig had Bryce competing against older kids to challenge him. As Bryce recalls, it seemed crazy at the time, but it shaped who I am. Instead of video games, this prodigy perfected his mechanics and poured over playbooks. By high school, his talents were undeniable. While still just a freshman, the college offers came rolling in. An excited 14-year-old Bryce snagged his first offer from Texas Tech, and many more followed. This wise beyond his years star gives all the credit to his pops for instilling drive and keeping him grounded. Thanks to Craig's mentorship, Bryce entered high school more focused than most college players. But despite his gifts, Bryce Young was far from a sure thing coming up. At just 5'11", questions persisted about his size and his durability. Many coaches want to see him grow or even change positions before sending him any offers. But Bryce and his dad stayed patient and kept grinding. He spent countless hours at camps and competitions trying to prove himself against bigger athletes. Often placed in secondary groups, Bryce outworked everyone until he finally reached the top level. Craig knew his son had the intangibles like leadership and resilience that couldn't be measured by height alone. He saw opportunities for Bryce to gain experience, like working out with college stars Marquise Lee and Juju Smith-Schuster while still in high school. Lee recalls Bryce holding his own, saying he was grinding. He was doing the work that needed to be done. Through hard work and faith, Bryce transformed from doubted undersized quarterback to a nationally coveted 5-star recruit. His early adversity paved the way for future success. As a freshman in 2020, Bryce studied under the veteran Mac Jones, waiting for his moment. The next season, he took command as the starter and delivered an all-time great campaign. Young tossed 47 touchdowns with just 7 interceptions while shredding defenses all season long. By his senior season, Bryce Young had blossomed into a bona fide phenom, amassing huge stats and collecting every major award possible. After initially committing to USC, Bama and Nick Saban came calling. Saban saw Bryce's accuracy, anticipation, mobility, and knack for big plays as a perfect fit for the Crimson Tide. Roll Tide. For Bryce, it was an opportunity to compete at the highest level. So hours before National Signing Day, he flipped his commitment to suit up for the Tide. By the end of 2021, Young's list of accolades was longer than a Leonard Fournette run. He swept the major awards, taking home the Heisman, AP Player of the Year, and consensus All-American honors as a true sophomore. It was a season for the history books. With little left to prove in college, Bryce Young declared for the 2023 NFL Draft following his remarkable junior campaign. Most pegged him as a consensus for the top QB prospect and potential #1 overall pick. Confident in his body of work, Young took an unorthodox draft prep approach. He sat out the NFL combine drills entirely and limited his team visits to just 3 teams: the Panthers, the Raiders, and the Texans. While some people nitpicked his 6', 194-pound frame, Young wasn't concerned, saying, "I've been this size my whole life. I know who I am and what I can do."
So whoever it was at whatever position, I'm just happy to get that chance to the next level.
Scouts praised his accuracy, anticipation, and knack for big moments, drawing comparisons to Russell Wilson. All eyes were on Young at Alabama's Pro Day, where he showed polished mechanics and arm talent while cementing his status as an elite prospect. His college coach, Nick Saban, called him one of the best players ever at reading defenses, a high praise from a respected source. With the draft on the horizon, the Panthers traded up to the #1 pick, and with the first selection, Carolina took Bryce Young to be the face of their franchise. It was a dream come true for such a humble star. After going first overall, Bryce Young inked a 4-year, $34 million rookie deal with the Panthers. With his future secured, it was time to hit the field. Young impressed in his NFL preseason debut, showing poise against the Commanders. He built an instant rapport with new head coach Frank Reich, who was tailoring the offense to maximize Bryce's strengths. After months of build-up, Young was named the Panthers' opening day starter. He'll look to shine on Sundays just like he did on Saturdays for the Crimson Tide. While the NFL presents a huge test, Bryce has faced adversity and doubters his entire career. His rare leadership and maturity should help this 22-year-old phenom transition to the big stage. Now it's time for his talents to take center stage. While Bryce's football journey has been beyond impressive, his grounded upbringing and spirituality are equally important parts of his story. The roots of his confidence and poise stem from his close-knit family life. Both parents, Craig and Julie, raised Bryce in their Christian faith and always empowered him to pursue his dream. Their love never depended on his success. His dad, Craig, says that their faith teaches growth in failures and unconditional love. This grounds Bryce through highs and lows. While Craig takes pride in his son's awards, his proudest moment was Bryce thanking Jesus during his Heisman speech.
You know, from day one, you've always been by my side. You've always been a supporter, more than just a father, but a best friend to me.
His devotionals are prominently displayed, and he says his faith makes him strive to be the best he can be. Bryce's beliefs provide perspective beyond just football. Before the 2023 NFL Draft even happened, did you know that he had already secured agreements with 3 major brands? As reported, the quarterback has entered into partnerships with Jordan Brand, Body Armor, and Snickers, as well as Bojangles, Dr. Pepper, and Nissan. His endorsements alone have earned him approximately $3.5 million, solidifying his status as one of the most financially successful college football athletes of all time. Here's another fun tidbit. Bryce Young isn't just a touchdown machine. He's got some serious hoop skills too. Imagine him throwing touchdown passes one day and sinking 3-pointers the next. If sports had a fantasy league for all-around talent, Bryce would be the ultimate draft pick yet again. In Bryce Young, we see a special talent who defied the odds every step of the way. His reserved confidence and maturity beyond his years helped him thrive under immense pressure and expectations. He silenced height concerns with his work ethic, eventually emerging as an unstoppable force in college. Even in the NFL, the undersized QB remains unfazed, trusting his gifts and preparation. But perhaps the most impressive is Bryce's humility and character. He stays grounded thanks to his family and his spirituality. And now on football's biggest stage, expect this young phenom's poise and leadership to elevate those around him. Bryce Young, the football star who stood tall amongst the giants, rewriting the playbook on his journey to NFL glory. What do you think will be his biggest accomplishment as an NFL quarterback? Winning MVP, taking the Panthers to the Super Bowl, or cementing his legacy as an all-time great? Let me know what you think Bryce's biggest achievement will be at the pro level. Now drop it in the comments, hit that like button, and see you on the next episode of Before They Were Famous. Boom.